Hey, what's up, guys? It's Space Jelly here. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman vs Superman, or Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Batman vs Superman. This is Armored Batman and Superman from the Frank Miller The Dark Knight Returns comic book series. So, I think that McFarlane tried to replicate the artwork on these two figures. But, I don't know. As we go through the review, we're going to see how accurate they are. By the way, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like these videos so far. Also, check out our Patreon and our tipping options. Okay, so on to the review. Let's start with maybe Batman, because I think I have more stuff to say about Superman. So first off, I need to show you they're both on their stands, because these figures are really hard to stand up. But I'll take off Batman's. I think he's a bit easier to stand up, but the cleats make it a bit difficult sometimes, and also the loose joints. But you know. So looking at his aesthetic, this figure was technically released before in a more gray color scheme, and the mask was completely different. This one has a bit more of a comic book accurate mask, or helmet, which I do prefer. And the armor is more blue, and I think that the gray parts are a bit lighter. Otherwise, all the sculpting seems to be the same, and the cape also seems to be the same, but just a slightly blue hue. So, I guess we can do the Superman now. In the aesthetic section, I saw a lot of people calling this figure ugly, and I think it is. This figure is absolutely hideous, but I think that it actually captures a lot of the essence of the comic book art, which is a little bit funny. But I think the main parts of it, like the body sculpt, is actually pretty good. The physique is pretty good, but it's kind of a big thigh gap. But I think that's also kind of accurate. Also, on my one, there's a few blemishes on the logo. You can probably see right there. There's like some blue on there for some reason. I don't think there's any part on this figure that's painted blue, so that's a little bit weird. Also, I have this dark spot. I don't know where that came from. Also, the belt loops are red. The belt loops are supposed to be red. These ones are yellow because, I don't know, I guess they just failed at not putting paint there. You can remove the paint if you want, though, with some nail polish remover or a paint remover. Just be careful with that. And the Superman logo is pretty okay, but there's a few spots that are not the best. And you can see the face sculpt. It looks super ugly, but Frank Miller's artwork was kind of ugly. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can fault it too much for being ugly when it's supposed to be based on an ugly art style. But the sculpt work everywhere else is pretty good. He has wrinkles on his pants. Every muscle is sculpted with detail, which is a rarity for McFarlane Toys. You can see there his back, and the Batman also has a bunch of nicks and scratches on his suit, but a silver dry brush on him would have went a really long way, and I think he actually does have that on his cleats. That's clearly painted metallic silver, but I guess they just decided to do that for the cleats and not for anything else, even though you're not going to look at the cleats. So yeah, the Batman looks pretty cool. Superman's pretty ugly, but accurate. So I don't know. I guess Batman gets an 8 for aesthetics. Superman gets like a 7.5 because the thigh gap is a bit weird, and I don't know. I think that they could have easily replicated the animated movie, and it would have looked better, and nobody would have complained. But that's what they decided to do. So, okay, let's compare them to some figures. Actually, I have a few Superman figures. This is my Kit Bash one. Batman over there. He's pretty tall, and his hands are pretty small. As you can see, his hands are like super detailed, but they're about as big as these hands, so they look a bit small in this figure. There. And also I have this one I recently did a review on. This whatever stupid limited edition run Superman was. And I have this Superman that McFarlane Toys is using this mold of over and over again. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like it, but the figure isn't terrible. But, I wish that he would just do what he said, or what they said they were going to do, and give a bunch of figures different sculpts. But, it's alright. I do prefer that one, though, over this figure. And here he is next to the Speeding Bullets Batman. And I guess you can also use this for comparison with this Batman. Batman's pretty tall. And I have the Justice League Tactical Armor Batman. By my knowledge, I don't think McFarlane ever released a armored Batman from the Batman vs Superman movie. But yeah, they're pretty tall figures. Let's go over Batman's articulation first. So, I'm going to talk about the accessories, but there's not really much to talk about because they both came with the stands like I showed. Came with this thing, a big stand with a painted tire that's not painted, and a sign that's not painted either. It just has a big dry brush on it, which is good enough, I guess. And they came with their 2 cards, obviously. Not really anything in the way of accessories, but okay. Now onto the articulation. Batman, he's, I don't know. The head is on a double ball peg. He can lean side to side, look up pretty far. Cuts a nice silhouette. Can't really look down though, but whatever. The shoulders are very loose. Actually, this one's not that loose, but this one is pretty loose. The slip joint is in these figures too. Not really much forward and backward movement, but you can shrug them up and shrug them down. Arms move out horizontally. That's pretty okay. For rotation, no bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow that rotates. So, I don't know about this design. It looks a bit silly. He has ball hinge wrists. They don't want to move for me, but whatever. They're ball hinges. They work, I think. He has a diaphragm joint. I don't know if it's 2 joints. I think it's just 1. He can't really lean forward at all. Or he can lean forward a little bit. He can arc back. That's okay. He can rotate. And I think he can move him side to side pretty well. It's okay. a soft diaper piece. He can kick out that far. He can kick back pretty far, but the legs are pretty loose on this figure. Not very good splits. He could have found a way to incorporate this into the diaper piece so that he can go out wider, but he is armored, so he can rotate at the thigh. Double jointed knees are pretty loose on this figure. It's not that hideous. It's actually pretty okay. The boots are super rubbery, very soft plastic. Okay. He doesn't really hinge forward at all. Hinges back pretty good. You can give him pretty good ankle rocker. Toe joint, and also because these are super loose, or not super soft, you can rotate the boot along with his shoe. So, I don't know. It's okay, articulation. I'll give him like a... He's kind of limited in the torso and the legs, so he gets like a 6 out of 10. Now on to the Superman. There's a few more things to talk about on the Superman. Alright, so Superman has a double ball peg again. He can look up pretty far. That's good for flight poses. He doesn't really look down that far, but that's like a nuanced style pose head. He can tilt from side to side. The ball peg feels like it's binding a bit when I rotate it, but he can rotate. Just use a blow dryer on it if you feel like it's gonna break. Shoulders are on a hinge. They go up, full rotation. He has a slip joint as well. Goes back about that far. Goes forward about that far. It's not really that useful, but you can shrug them up and down, so that's okay, I guess. No bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow. These ones actually don't look that bad. These ones look a bit more natural when he bends his elbows. He has ball hinge wrists with his tiny baby hands. He has a really stiff cape for some reason. Also, I don't know why they sculpted it like this. It looks like ribbons. I don't think this really looks like Superman's cape. But whatever. He can barely crunch forward. He arcs back a lot, but I think you can see that there's a big problem with when you do that. Yeah, I don't know. He could have avoided that if he put the socket closer forwards to the abdominals, but he didn't do, or when I say he, I'm just referring to McFarlane Toys. Obviously, he doesn't make all the figures, but they didn't do that, so I don't know. Full rotation, both ends. He can kick forward a bit, but it goes out. Kicks back, loose. Legs are loose going outwards, but much better splits than Batman, so that's okay. Thigh swivel is very nice on this figure. Oof. Bottom joint is pretty loose. Double jointed knee is okay. Proportioning is decent. Ankles move forward pretty far. They move back pretty far. And there's a toe joint, but the feet are so heavily ratcheted that it's hard to stand him. I don't think I said on the Batman that his feet are pretty loose, so it's kind of hard to stand him because his feet are loose, and this Superman is hard to stand because his feet are too tight, so yeah. I don't know. He gets like a... The torso is also limited on him, even though he has 2 joints, and they look hideous. So, I don't know. He gets like a 7 out of 10 on articulation, so not too bad. I think these figures, if you can find it on clearance or on sale, which we did, This 2-pack was like $10 where we found it at like Hobby Lobby. They had it there. And okay, if you can find these figures at that price, I think they're worth it. But I think when these figures came out, they were like $40 or something like that, what the usual 2-packs are worth. And I don't know. I don't think that's worth it because it didn't come with any accessories except for this dumb display stand and cards. So yeah, I don't know. If I were you, try to find this on clearance. I'm sure that some online stores have it on sale, maybe Amazon. Maybe check your Hobby Lobby. They might have it on sale for $10. So yeah, $10, it's a steal. $40 if you really like this particular comic book series. Yeah, I guess it's a good buy. So yeah, thanks for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you for sticking around this long. Make sure you check out the Patreon and the tipping option. Also, we're getting close to 100 subscribers, and we're going to do a free giveaway once we hit that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Anyway, see ya. Bye.